Eek! Giant skull. Looks very angry and very hungry. We better get out of here before it can actually chomp down on us. Oh, let's move. Pop this time stop. Come on, let's get out of here. Get away from me, skull. Ah, giant blue razor blades. Must keep moving. Must collect all orbs, though. We must keep moving, but we must get all orbs. Ha, owned it. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, I am SocioPsycho, and this is Mob Reviews, and today we're going to take a look at Oscura Lost Light. This is created by Chocolate Liberation Front, goofy name, available for PC, Mac, and Linux. It is a platformer with some platforming puzzle elements integrated into it. But the question is, how well is the game actually handle? And that is what we will answer here today. Now, the game does not have an options menu in it, which is unfortunate. While you do start the game up, a small screen will pop up, and while the graphic quality of the game is very simplistic, there really is no need for an in-depth selection of the graphics quality. Artistically, it looks nice, and it gets the point across. The atmosphere ties in well with no issues. Screen resolution-wise, there is a large burst, and that's definitely appreciated. The game's been running well over 60 frames per second with no tearing, clipping, or crashing. I've not had any performance issue whatsoever during my gameplay. It's run smooth. Now, it is unfortunate that there really is no sound slider in the game. As you progress in the game, you do have the availability to turn the sound, the music, off. The platforming is very intense, and that keeps the majority of your focus. The music, I feel, is not a huge point in the game, and it could have been, but that's not the direction they took, but at the same time, it doesn't necessarily suffer for it. When it comes down to the control options, the simple controls that you have throughout the game are the arrow keys for your movement and jumping, the spacebar to activate a power, and shift to change in between the powers that you have found. Now, the powers will be regulated to the different levels versus the different challenges, and regulated quite well. I would have liked to have these keys rebound. I found that it wasn't the most accurate for my style of gameplay, and you might feel the same way. Was it detrimental though in my enjoyment of the game? No. But I would have been more proficient or a little bit more accurate if I was able to tweak some of the keys a bit more to my preference. So that's unfortunate. So what is the game exactly? Well, let's start off with a baseline of a story, because the game doesn't really have that big of a story, and it's not a style of game that you're going to get for the story. You start off as a small character who is the apprentice to a lighthouse keeper, and the lighthouse is magically charged of different crystals that keep the darkness away. You touch it, it explodes, darkness creeps in, and your job now is to recover all of the lost crystal shards. So atmospherically, everything ties in quite well with itself. There is no real drive from the story to progress you forward, or no emotional connection with the character, but there's no negative either. It has enough story to justify everything in the game versus your actions without over-welcoming its stay or being a nuisance upon your gameplay. There are also different levels as you progress through, and these different levels will have how many times you die, do you meet the par time, and do you manage to gather up all the little glowing orbs on each one of these levels. There is severe room in this game for replayability, as the different levels do vary in their difficulty as you progress forward. Not only do the levels get more difficult or complex, but they also have a rating system. Did you make it in the par time? If a mission is 6 minutes baseline and you get in 8, you won't get the little sort of achievement goal of congratulations, you made it under time. Or did you get all of the orbs on the map? And how many times did you die? The real thing that is only the unfortunate aspect when it comes to the base story and gameplay interface is the fact that there really is no leaderboard. I'm a strong supporter when it comes to platformers for them having leaderboards, especially when you already have a par time system tied to your individual levels. It would have been nice if there was a leaderboard for those who seem it. For me personally, I don't care that there isn't a leaderboard because I'm not a competitive person like that. But I can definitely see the room for potential and the growth, and possibly some people who are very time orientated, well, that's where they find their enjoyment, overpassing this game because it doesn't have it. So it is unfortunate it does not have a leaderboard, as I feel that it would have definitely benefited from one. But down to the meat of the game, the gameplay itself, which is platforming. So how does the platforming actually handle in the game? Now let's start off by talking about me and my personal preference when it comes to platforming, so you can get a base understanding of where I am during my experience in the game. I'm not somebody who rushes off and gets the new next platformer that pops out. The platforming element of the game has to have something special in it. It has to have something either story heavy, mechanically interesting, a good atmosphere, and it just has to feel right while I'm playing it for me to really enjoy it. And I'm happy to say that I did greatly enjoy this game. The platforming element in it feels very well done. The double jump, which is your base move, is just so perfectly flushed out in how it feels when it moves that you never have a sense of, oh damn it, if only that double jump was better, or the way it landed, or there was some issue with where my character's feet were versus where I was trying to jump. Now yes, I have wished that sometimes my character could dive forward, or my character could hold on to a ledge of a couple platforms because I end up jumping into a platform instead of jumping onto a platform. But the game's difficulty level spurts more of a moderate to experienced category. If you're brand new to platforming games, this one may be above you. But if you have some experience, moderate to a experienced, like and enjoy them, then you'll definitely find what you're looking for. And if you're a veteran, then this should give you on some levels a challenge, as it does get harder as it goes through. But it never got unfair, and that's the important note to very clearly specify upon. The game was never unfair. Yes, there are some parts which are hard, or some parts which have a lot of dangerous traps and a lot of sneaky ways that you can die. And you may die and load up and be like, wow, how did I not see that? Well, now I know it's there this time, so I'll try to work around it. But what matters are the checkpoints. The checkpoints that they give you in between for progress you made have been well balanced. This game is designed for you to die. Now, as I said, I am not an expert platformer, but I like to feel I hold my own. And on some of these, I only died 10 times, and on others, I've died around 40 times. So it does have a variable not only in its difficulty, but in what it offers you mechanically, which is beautiful. So I never felt though as if, oh, I'm just never gonna get this, or it's so unfair, or wow, I lost so much progress, I lost so much time. The game knows that it's going to kill you, but it doesn't punish you for that. And it actually has a sense of progression as you go through, because it allows you to not lose too much of the time when you do die. You're not feeling like, wow, these are set out at 30% integers, or 60% or 50%, you know, something really high. It's more like 5 to 15% integrals that allow you to get back in it after you die right away and attempt to correct the mistake you made last time. The platforming overall is very smooth and very well done. Now you tie this into the level design, and the level design is where it really matters. And the thing is, you never feel as if you're looking at the same sort of mechanics or the same environment again and again. It mixes up everything as you progress forward. There are new challenges, harder challenges, longer levels, new opponents, new enemies, new dangers, new ways to die, clever and mischief in the way that the developers will kill you on some of these hidden spikes in the ground, or monsters patrolling, or some variable. The level design does a really good job of not just keeping the atmosphere as you progress through this world, because everything does feel tied together, whether it be a more grassy terrain or a industrial vibe. The dangers that you face all feel very real, and they feel like they belong. Whatever your reason for being on these different areas is irrelevant because it's all tied down to the fact that you're looking for those crystals. So if you're on a industrial platform, but before that you're on a grassland platform, it doesn't matter because you're going where the crystals are. So it gives them the freedom sort of to open up and change the scenery at a drop of a hat with really no negatives to it. So at the end of the day, we have a game that is just another platformer, right? Except it has a beautiful atmosphere. Not so heavy on the story, but it gets by. It doesn't have any negative incantations because of the story, and it only helps propel the atmosphere. The difficulty may be too high for entry-level platformers. But for people with experience in the genre, this is definitely something to pique your interest. Like I said in the beginning, it's unfortunate it doesn't have a leaderboard for those that are time-orientated. But for the rest of people who just want to enjoy a little experience or atmospheric adventure, it does it well. The platforming has the correct weight. And as you progress through these different levels, you will find some of the different abilities, whether it be sort of gravity adjustment where you can use a gem to now walk on the ceiling, or whether it be a red gem that destroys certain walls or structures, or a blue gem that slows time, and so on. These gems allow an increase in variable to the different styles of play. And so the game never gets old. And more importantly, I never felt like it was wasting my time. I never felt the game disrespected the effort and the time I put in due to the areas and spacing of the checkpoints. So if you died, yes, it was unfortunate, but you didn't lose so much progress that you were like, oh well, fuck it, I'm just going to do something else because this is a hassle. I never felt that way. I felt like I was actually progressing through the game and I was enjoying what I had done. So ladies and gentlemen, this is an easy recommend for those out there who are looking for a new platformer game to experience. I hope this has been a help to you, as I've been SocioPsycho, and this has been Mob Reviews, and I'll see you next time.